What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Get Certified. If you don't know my name is Menak, and I'm your host, and I'm here to help you to get your next ABAP certificate. So, before we start off, just to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button if you like my videos. So, let's get right into it. So, in the last video, we talked a little bit about how to launch the debugger, the different ways to do it, and the difference between the old and the new debugger. Well, I didn't talk the difference, but we talked that there are two kinds of debugger, which is the old one and the new one. So right now let's talk about a little theoretical knowledge which will be useful in answering the certificate questions. So the first thing is, as I already told you, when you launch the new debugger, it opens up in a new external mode rather than opening up in the same mode like it used to in the classical debugger. So remember that you have a maximum of 6 external modes available as a default in your system, but your system might be configured differently. Well, there's another thing. If there are no further external modes which are available, the SAP pop-ups a new message. The message will be that no additional external mode for your new BAP debugger is available. Will be displayed on your screen, and the new debugger start is cancelled, and the classic debugger is started in its place. Well, in this case, if you want to continue with the new debugger, what you need to do is go ahead and just close your old modes or the modes which are not required. Remember that in the new debugger, control can be passed from the application to the new debugger at any time using the /h, as I already told you. And let's talk about new ways, the different ways rather, by which you can close your debugger. The first option would be just simply to go to the debugger, and then go to exit, and then which closes just the debugger, and the application continues to run, which is this option. And the next option is you go to debugger and exit application and debugger, which would actually closes both the debugger and the application. And the third option is if the application is ready for input and the debugger is waiting, in which case you can enter /hx in the command line and then press enter. But in this case, if I press it won't work because our application, it won't work because let's try it out. I think there you go, because application we are still debugging and this is not the output screen. So just remember, if the application is ready for output and the debugger is waiting, so you can try out the new the /hx command in the command line, and you can press enter, which will close just the debugger and allows the application to run, continue to run. And it is also possible to switch between the old and new debugger. The option would be somewhere right around. Give me a minute, guys. You can. I think there you go. So you can actually switch to the classic debugger go to navigate and switch to classic debugger. Actually, I forgot, because in the older versions you had the option right about here. So you wish to go to debugger and then directly. Now they changed to go to and navigate. You can go to the classic debugger right around from here. So guys, another important theoretical knowledge which might be useful is that when you switch between the new debugger to the old debugger, you need to be aware that when the ABAP code is called from the kernel of the application server, primarily for conversions and field exits, a runtime error would be triggered as a result of the recursive call, which would be RPERF, illegal statement. And you will find the functions for analyzing source code similar between the different versions of the debugger. Sorry, well, it is possible to navigate from the variable overview to the detailed overview just by double clicking on the object. Say for example, you can double click and you will get a detailed view of the data object. The difference with the new debugger is that simply you can process an unlimited number of data objects simultaneously, and the number visible at a single time depends actually on the size of the window and the font size. So there you have, you would also say, For example, in the classic debugger, as you would have as I already told you in the previous videos, that a maximum of 8 data objects could be displayed, of which only 4 at a time. So you have that. This another information is you can double click on the data object, and you have a pencil option. You can double click on this and you can actually change the value just to force the value as 13, and when you execute the value, on the final screen you would have the value which you would have forced during your debugging process. So you can change the value at runtime using the debugger for certain cases or certain complex programs where you actually, instead of you would like to see how the program reacts to your particular input. So this comes handy during that time. So let's go back and let's talk a little bit about the different UI tools which are available for the new debugger. So there you go. So as soon as you start the new debugger, as you would have seen, we will have a message which says debugger, this is your session number, connected, and it has an exclusive mode. So just this is like this actually is a term which I still have not covered in this video series, so I will be covering in the next chapter, where I talk about the exclusive and non-exclusive modes. Well, to simply make you understand what is exclusive mode, let me tell you. Say for example, the ABAP architecture, the SAP architecture works this way. You have small spaces in the ABAP architecture where particular programs or some functions or some as a matter of fact some executing parts of your code is sent to a particular area in the ABAP architecture, and you have dedicated area which we call as workspace, which actually takes it up and executes your code. So in general, what happens is, whenever you try and execute your program, your program is assigned to a work area where it gets executed. But how it works is your program might actually work in several work areas. Now, say for example, in 100% work area, 45% is dedicated to some other program which is executing at the same time, and the 55% of the work area is dedicated to your program, and the rest 5% of your code is running in some other work area. So basically, your program might be divided, and your executing part of your program might be divided into several work areas at the same time. So what exclusive work area, as like this exclusive keyword, means is that you reserve your own work area for executing your program. So what happens is, if an ABAP debugger is an exclusive one, it means that it will occupy a work area for itself for the entire course of the session, as in unless and until you close up this debugger, your debugger will take up one particular work area and will consistently and will persist throughout the execution of its life. So that is what exclusive means. To give you a small, we will cover it up in details in the next chapter, where I talk about a little bit about the architecture of SAP, and we talk a little bit about the architecture of ABAP too. So just remember that the debugger obtains an exclusive mode means that the application to be analyzed exclusively occupies a work process of the application server during debugging. So that is what exclusive means. And well, if all the exclusive debugging work processes are occupied, the debugger is switched to non-exclusive mode. In this state, you can attempt to occupy a work process exclusively by selecting debugger and exclusive debugging mode on. So that is what you can do. But since the debugger we are using is already exclusive mode, so to work, the option is actually grayed out. However, it is only possible if another exclusive debugging work processes become available in the meantime. So that is what exclusive debugging mode means. Let's talk about the different desktop areas which are available to us, or what we call as the work areas. So in total, SAP gives you 12 desktops or work areas when the new debugger starts. Well, this is an increase from the previous version of the SAP NetWeaver 6.4, because not all of the tools were complete with the previous version. Well, you can customize the first 3 desktops which are available to you, and the rest 8 predefined desktops are the for you, so that you can use them at your own you know, usability. Well, you can modify each of these desktops at any time you want. So each desktop can hold from 1 to 4 tools. So depending on the desktop, and the tools displayed on a desktop can be the same or different based on your needs at the time. So you can change the size, location of any of these tools while in the debugger. So we have different options right here. So this would be our close option. This will be opening a new tool. So at this point of time, we have, if you click right here, so you can actually select the tools you want. So for now, you have 23 tools if you count them all, which are grouped in 4 categories, which are standard tools, the data objects, memory management, and special tools. So based on your need, you can actually add these tools to your desktops or work areas, as we call them. So this would be our replace. This would be our replace tool. So you can use the replace option to replace any tool with any other tool. So so there's that, and this is your swipe. So you can actually swipe this area with this area. So based on, oh sorry, that was your get wide area. So we can go right back if say for example you made a mistake and you do not want to keep that functionality. You can just click on the back button and it'll bring you right back where you are. So I was talking about this actually. So what this helps you is to swipe the code area and your variable display area with that button. And the last tool is what we call service of the tool. So most of the tools will also provide additional service. You can actually click on this to have a look. You'll always be able to access the tool services by this option. So say for example the source code tool, what it does is I'm talking about this. So what it does is it allows you to navigate to the currently executing line, or to open the editor tool. Most provide the ability to save the context of the tool to a local file, or to search the variable fast display, which is the name for this part of the screen. Provides options for sorting the local or global data objects, or saving the test case test data as a test case into your desktop, into your system. So let's have a look how you can do that. So say for example we have the value, we have the internal table TMRS. So this we double clicked on the variable, and well, there are 2 values as you can see. So we double click on this, and we go ahead and click on the small table button, which displays table display in ALV. We click on this, and here we have an option to export our table. Not this. This would be, there you go, export to your local file, or you can send or you can save it as a spreadsheet or a word processing file as you want. So there you go. These are some of the functions of the new debugger. Well, we have some more functionalities which we will continue in the next video, and then we'll talk about assertions and breakpoints, how we can use them. So that's it for this video, and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like my channel. See you in the next one, guys.